Good morning, boys and girls. It's math time. So let's get started, shall we? First, we are going to go over our learning target for today. Please follow along with me as we go over it. Our math target for today is I can compare and order whole numbers up to 100,000. Isn't that awesome? I can't wait. So, we will be learning how to determine which number is greater than, less than, or equal to. Now, let's review this anchor chart. This anchor chart might look slightly different from some of the other videos that you've been working with other teachers, and that's okay. The information is still going to tell us the same thing. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Comparing and ordering numbers. Let's just go over what that means. All numbers have a value. Remember, we have gone over the place value of each digit all the way up to 100,000. You can compare the value of two whole numbers by using these symbols. Now, remember, this is a review video, so stay with me as we are reviewing so that it's going to help you with today's lesson. With these, you have the greater than symbol, less than symbol, equal to symbol. Now, it's really important how you read and how you write these symbols down. It's very important because the way that you read it and the way that you write it will depend on whether or not you are using these symbols correctly. I'm going to explain. In a quick example, let me just erase this right here so we have enough room. So very quickly, we're just going to do up to 100 right now. We're going to have 324. Now, with 324, when we are reading math problems, we are reading from left to right, just like we would read just in a regular book. So, when we are using these symbols, we have to remember that we are still continuing to read from left to right. So, if I were to put this symbol greater than right here, this number sentence is telling us that 324 is greater than whatever is going to be on this side of the symbol. Really important, because when we're saying this is greater than, it means that this number is bigger than whatever number is going to be over here. Think of it this way. Think of the mouth of a crocodile always wants to eat more. They never want to eat less. So, you have your crocodile and it's eating the big number. Nom, 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 nom. Delicious. So, it's really important that when you are reading and writing a number sentence, you always go from left to right. So, I would say 324 is greater than 24. This statement is true. Now, if I were to change the symbol, and I'm having the symbol being pointed towards our number, now it is saying 324 is less than whatever it may be. So this symbol, when the arrow, the pointed end, is pointing towards a number, that means it is less. So it's really important. I'm going to say, so 324 is less than 360, which makes this statement very true. So, it's really important to always remember to recognize the symbol you are using and making sure if your number is less, you have the pointed end going towards it. If you have a bigger number, the open end is towards the bigger number, like a crocodile wanting to have a lot more numbers for lunch. Num, 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 num. Okay? All right. So, we're going to go ahead and get into more of this anchor chart. I'm gonna scooch it a little bit more over here and point the camera angle down so you can see it a little bit better. And I will be writing these steps over here so that you can see it a little bit better. So with step 1, when we are comparing numbers, we want to find out what numbers are larger and smaller. It's really important. And being able to recognize which numbers are greater than or less than each other. Because we are going to be ordering numbers today from either least to greatest or greatest to least. So this is what we're going to be doing for step 1. Step 1, you are going to line up the numbers by place value. So right here, we have numbers in the thousands. So as you can see with this example, the thousands place are lining up, the hundreds, tens, and ones. This is a strategy that will help you when comparing and trying to order numbers to see which one is greater than or less. So I'm going to rewrite this over here so you can see it better. So they have it lined up. 5,312 and 5,361. Earlier, I talked about how we're always going to read from left to right. The same thing here. We are lining up our numbers, and we are going to start in the thousands place, and then work our way down to each place value to find out which number is greater than or less than. We're going to start in the thousands place. So thousands. They're the same. So as of right now, we can't compare to see which one is greater than or less than. So we need to then move over to the next place value. As you can see, in the hundreds, they're both 300. So then we got to go to the next place value to see if there's a difference. This one has a 1 in the tens place, and this number has a 6 in the tens place. So we did find a difference. Now, we have to look. This one has a 1, and this one has a 6. So with that being said, which number is greater? That is correct. 5,361 is greater than 5,312. Very good. Now, right here, what I just demonstrated is step 2 from down here. Compare the numbers in each place starting with the largest, which is the thousands place for this example. So, as you can see down here, it says start here, 5 equals 5, 3 equals 3. 1 is less than 6, so 5,312 is less than 5,361. We can always switch the numbers by making sure the symbols are correct. I'm going to show you right now. Using the same numbers, 5,312, which symbol would we use? Would we use 5,312 is greater than 5,361 or less than? We would say less than. Very good. And less than, you are pointing the arrow towards that number, because then you would say 5,361. So this statement is true. 5,312 is less than 5,361. If I were to switch the numbers, same numbers, but in a different order. So we're going to start off with 5,361. Are we still going to say less than, or are we going to switch the symbols? We would switch the symbols because this is the bigger number, right? The crocodile always wants more, the highest number. So the open end goes towards the biggest number. So it's really important how you write your number sentence and which symbol is appropriate based on reading it from left to right. Okay, so that is going to now transition us into ordering numbers now. So I'm going to be giving you a group of numbers, and we have to figure out which numbers are going to go from least to greatest. So it's listing. So we have to find out how to list that, and by recognizing the place values to make sure that we are ordering them in the correct way. So I'm going to make a list of 3 just to start off with as an example. And we're going to do 10,000s to start. And the next example will be the 100,000s. So we'll do 32,000, 102. We're going to do 30,000. 52. Then we're going to do 31. Okay. So we have 3 different numbers. We need to first line the numbers up. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to first line the numbers up because obviously I didn't line them up right. So now we're going to do that so you can see. So I got this one. Now I'm going to do that one, which I'm done. Making sure you're lining them up by place value. All right. They are all lined up based on place value. Now step 2. We're going to compare the numbers in each place, starting with the largest, which is what? What's the largest place value on these numbers? 10,000. Very good. So as we can see, with all 3 numbers, the 3's in the 10,000s place are all the same. So now we need to go over. These are all the same, so now we need to jump over to the thousands place value. They're all 2's. They're all still the same. Let's keep going. Now, let's look here. The hundreds place values are different. We have a 5 here, a 0, and then a 2. Looking at the hundreds place value, we are going from least to greatest. Least to greatest. Now, boys and girls, based off of the hundreds place value, which number is least? Very good. The 0 is least. So that means we are going to write this number in our list first. So this one is number 1. 32,052. Okay. Now we're going to leave a little space here. We're going to put a comma over here because they're going to be separate numbers. So now, looking back at the hundreds place value, we are done with that. So I'm going to go ahead and erase. Which one would come next? We are still going from least to greatest. So let's help ourselves out a little bit. From one of these 2, which one is the greatest? 5. So 32,502 is the greatest. So that's going to be our last number. So then our second number would be 32,250. And that's what we're going to write next on our list. And then you write our last one. And this is how you order numbers from least to greatest using the trick of knowing your place values. Okay? So that was one example. I'm going to go over one more using hundred thousands now. This time, though, we're going to go from greatest to least. So, greatest to least. So I'm going to do step one. I'm going to line up the numbers. We're just going to go right into that so it makes it easier to do step 2 and then 3. Okay, so 100,000s here. Okay, here are our numbers lined up. Remember, step 2 now. Compare the numbers in each place, starting with the largest. So the largest place value with these numbers now is the 100,000s. So we are going to start right here on the left-hand side of this number, going all the way down. The hundreds place value is all 3. So we need to now go over to the 10,000s place value. Going down, they're all 0. They're still the same. Let's move on. The thousands place value. Oh, I see a difference. We have 2 sets of numbers. Excuse me. We have 2 sets of numbers. 2 of them have 4. The other 2 have 5. So we are going from greatest to least. So which numbers do we want to look at first? The bigger number, because 5 is bigger than 4 in the thousands place. So we're going to be looking at these 2 numbers. Let's get you a little closer so you can see it better. There we go. So now we're just focusing on these numbers right here. So now we're going to the hundredths place value. So we have a 1 and then a 1. Okay. They're still the same. Now we need to go to the tens place. Going to the tens. We found a difference. We have a 3 and we have a 7. And remember, we're going from greatest to least. So, in the tens place value, which number is greater? 7 or 3? 7. So that means that 305,173 is going to be listed first. So they're going to be listed first. I'm just going to number them right here, just for right now, until we have more space. So that's number 1. And we're going from greatest to least, so what's the next greatest number? 305,137. Okay, so this is 2. This will be first, and this would be second. Now, we need to go here and figure out what number is going to be third and then fourth. So, we already went through the thousands house. Now we're in the hundreds house. So let's take a look here. In the hundreds place value, they both have 0. We need to move on to the tens place now. Tens place, we found a difference. There's a 3 here and a 4 here. Which number is bigger? 4 or 3? The 4. So that is going to be our third number. So 304,042 is our third one. So then, by default, this last number, 304,033, is our last ordering. So, boys and girls, this is how you're ordering numbers. Using the place value chart and understanding each place value number will help guide you to comparing and ordering numbers. Because then you can take these numbers just two at a time, and you would write a number sentence comparing them. So let's compare these two. So I'm going to back out. I'm going to scooch to the side now. Here we go. So I'm taking these first two numbers. So if I say 305,137 this side, and then we have 305,173. What symbol would we use? Would we use greater than, less than, or equal to? Well, we already found out that they're not equal to each other, so that's pretty simple. So we're going to get rid of that. So, because it was based off of the tens place value, which one was bigger? Correct. This number was bigger because 7 is bigger than 3. So you would have to make sure that the open end goes towards the bigger number. Okay? And then the pointed arrow goes towards the smaller number. If these were flipped, then you have to make sure you change your symbol. Because when we are doing math, when you read or write it, you explain it going from left to right. So we're going to get rid of those numbers. Same with this one. Now, we have 304,042, 304,033. And again, it was still the tens place value that was different. There was a 4 here, a 3 here. Which number's different? This one. This one's bigger. So, the open end goes towards the bigger number. The pointed one goes towards the smaller number. And there you go. All right, boys and girls. That is how you order numbers from least to greatest or greatest to least. Understanding and making sure that you are using and understanding each place value in order to make the correct order. All right, boys and girls. Well, this ends this portion of the focused instruction lesson. Now you are going to transition to the guided instruction portion, and that is on a separate video that you will find on Schoology. It has been an absolute pleasure to teach you today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!